Yo, you know what time it is. Let's get it. This is the review for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The day has arrived. We're here. Let's go. The one word I can use and I will use to describe this film is transcendent, because it is. So without further ado, let's jump right in. The positives. Starting off, Shuri. Shuri just in and of herself is one of the best parts of the film. She's great. Letitia Wright held it down. She had the comedy, the action, the character progression. You know they put that in there. It was all there. It was solid. Don't even get me started on when she finally puts on the suit, but I'm gonna get there in a second. Letitia Wright Shuri, easily one of the best parts of the film. My man Namor, he held it down. Played by Tenoch Huerta. Turn up. My man was swole. He had the wings on the feet. Super strong. His emotions were all there. Solid. Every time he came on screen, you knew something was going down. He had a little bit almost of that, dare I say, Batman vibe, especially when he throws the vibranium, sensing machine onto the coaster, and they're like, how did he even get that there? Batman can and usually will find his way into any film, so he found his way into this film just a bit. Little Batman elements. But yeah, Namor, just legit. Okoye, special shout out. Man, they gave Okoye her time to shine in this film, played by Denai Guerrera. Man. She was just solid, bro. Legit. Hilarious. Do you realize how powerful of a character she is, man? When she shows up, it's going down. Okoye was good, man. And one of the funniest parts of the film, and they didn't really explain it, but in the beginning, when there's like this raid on a Wakandan mining facility, mining vibranium, of course, and the dude, one of the dudes pops off with like a machine gun with some automatic machine gun fire, and she blocks it by spinning her spear. Obviously it was tight, but I was in the theater Okoye can get down like that? They didn't explain it. They didn't really dive deeper into it. But she was spinning her spear, the vibranium spear, and blocking automatic machine gun fire. Insane. So yeah, shout out Okoye, but she legitimately got her time to shine during this film. One of the best parts of the whole film. Nakia. Okay. You want to talk about characters getting their time to shine. In the first film, she was, not even just like a supporting character, but a side character, essentially. I didn't know really what she could do, blah, blah, blah. Bro, Nakia came through in this film. She's on some like James Bond type stuff, like some super spy type stuff. She's a pivotal element of the plot of the film. Just Nakia herself. She's not even light, bro. She's legit, some Daniel Craig type stuff. Yeah, Nakia, easily one of the best parts of the film because you find out what she's about. And she's about that life. So, shout out. Okay, now on to more and Nakia, obviously, Lupita Nyong'o. So, you know what she's about, Academy Award winning. Lupita is, we know she's deep in the game. Held it down. Shout out Nakia. So on to more specific things. The initial fight between Okoye and the Atlantean, I guess he was a warrior or maybe a general. Man, if it weren't for a couple parts of the film, specifically another part that I'm going to get into in a little bit, that would be the best part of the film. It was insane. Like I always say, to keep going, to keep finding quote unquote success, you gotta remember who you are or what you did to get to that point to begin with. And Marvel looked back in their bag and remembered exactly how they became who they are and accelerated it. That fight was ridiculous. It was crazy. On the highway, on the bridge, bro, I was like, are the Russos involved in this? They might be. It was crazy. It took that kinetic, that energy, that emotion straight from some Captain America and Black Widow versus Winter Soldier type stuff. It was very much so in that vein. Bro, the hits, the movement, there weren't too many cuts so you could see the actual fight. Oh my goodness. At this one point, the Atlantean warrior hits Okoye with the superhuman strength strike, and the camera kind of zooms in on her face and she goes flying back, and the sound effect, you could feel it in the theater. It was incredible. Like I said, if it weren't for some, moments in the film, which I'm going to get to in a little bit, that would be the best part of the film. And the whole film was good. Yeah, man, they remembered exactly how they became who they are because that bridge fight scene between Okoye and the Atlantean general, oh my God. Bro, it was just sick. You'll see. You'll find out. And speaking of the best parts of the film, the actual best part of the film. I gotta put my script up a little bit for this. Both hands. Wild. The road to Shuri becoming the Black Panther was the best part of the film. And I think that they're aware of that. It was sick, okay? So there's a pivotal moment in the film where Shuri realizes that it's game time. She has to step it up. Her mother passes away. You know, all my reviews are spoiler reviews. You know, we're gonna throw it out there. Angela Bassett passes away. So at this point, Shuri's against the ropes. She realizes Namor isn't just like halfway strong. He's extra strong. As M'Baka, you know, accurately put in the film, we might be dealing with someone who's on a comparable strength level of the Hulk. And if you know comics, Namor, for whatever reason, is up there with like the Hulk and Thor in them. He's not as swole, so you're like, oh, he's pretty strong. How strong is this dude? Namor, come on, bro. He's like a light level Superman, but that's a whole nother story. So Shuri realized, she's like, okay, this dude's extremely strong. He's extremely dangerous. And also he's extremely about that life. Like, he's about to come in here and tear this whole country apart. And he's not just talking. He's going to do it. So she's kind of like, okay. It might be time to go ahead and finish up synthesizing that heart-shaped herb. And that moment, that shift in her character and, you know, her mindset leads into literally the best part of the entire film. They kind of drop the music track a little bit. It's mysterious. It's real like sparse. I had chills. Man, I got chills now. I had chills through the entire part because it was just crazy. You felt the impending events that were about to happen. Maybe people in the theater were like, oh, you know, this is cool. But coming from the comics, you know, I knew what was about to happen. You know, she's about to finish the herb and throw on the Black Panther suit. But, you know, that whole part, I was like dang near standing up the entire time. It was crazy. So Riri Williams is there with her as well. Ironheart. She starts forging the suit. But what's kind of like the second best part of the film, but it bleeds into the first part of the film because this is like the best part of the film, is they start putting those brains together, those super brains, and just figure out a way to take down Namor like on the spot. They're like, yo, did you notice kind of like when he came out the water, they're like, yeah, he had to go back into the water. Maybe if we dry him out. I was in the film like, once again, got the chills. I'm like, are y'all listening to this? It was insane. It was sick. That's one of the best parts of comics. When, you know, you get the brains together, let's say Peter Parker, Reed Richards, you know, T'Challa himself, and they start figuring out ways to like take down a villain, to obliterate them when they're not even there. The villain, in this case, the adversary, Namor, has no clue that this is going on. But they're like cooking up a plot. And they did it so casually too. They were like, yo, you notice kind of when he came out the water, as soon as they started saying stuff like that, I'm like, oh man, they're about to tear us up. I don't cuss. They're about to tear him up. They're literally formulating the methodology to rip this dude apart. So like, oh my, it just had that sense of like, it's going down. And it did. And like I've said in many reviews, one thing I really love about these movies when they add it into the film is when they take not just specific comic elements like suits, you know, the powers, obviously, storylines, but like the spirit of the comics, the actual spirit, and that makes its way into the film. Just the concept of like the super brains getting together and like formulating a plot to destroy the villain, that is so comic books. I've been reading that for years. And that's what made it into this film in spades. It was so good. So they're like synthesizing a plan to just, to destroy Namor. That was like the second best part of the film, but it was bled into the first part. So the first part of the film, best part of the film, Shuri is becoming the Black Panther. She's like, okay, I got the plant. I got this little bracelet, you know, from Atlantis. It's got some Wakandan, it's got some vibranium, you know, elements in it. The plant was grown from vibranium-rich soil. So it's got that, it's like a maybe pseudo heart-shaped herb in a way. Similar. She's like, I got the plant, okay? I got the herb that I've been working on for a year, okay? Just for good measure, I'm gonna go get my brother, T'Challa's DNA to throw that into the mix. I was like, she's on some like Bruce Banner like post levels. Like, we know Shuri's smart. Some say that in the MCU, she might be the smartest character in the MCU. Riri Williams, you'll see, is up there as well. But we know what Shuri's about, but it was put to the test. It was put onto the plate, onto the screen in this film. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna get my brother's DNA. So she uses all these elements, has her synthetic DNA molecule going, you know, actually physically building it. I'm like, Yo, in addition to the fact that this is just dope, who wrote this? Who wrote this? But I know who wrote it. We get to that a little bit later. Oh my God. So she finally puts it together and, gets she completes the formula. After 1 year, with her back against the rope, she synthesizes a heart-shaped herb, which of course lets her become the Black Panther. And that's a whole part of the story of itself. But just that moment where she realizes, okay, the playtime is over. As Namor accurately said, you're the queen now. One of probably the best line of the film. It's tied with another line, but I'll get to that in a second. Once he said, you're the queen now, and she's like, I actually am the queen. Like, I mean, what am I going to do here? This dude will blow my country up in a week, and he'll actually do it. To her finishing the herb and, taking it back and becoming Black Panther, that part of the film is the best part of the film. It was almost scary. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's the hero. It was good, but it was like, yo, it's about to go down. I'm not playing with y'all no more. And they carried that vibe perfectly. The road from Shuri realizing that she has to finish synthesizing the heart-shaped herb and become the Black Panther, to her drinking the juice and becoming the Black Panther. That section of the film is the best part of the film. So big shout out on that. Okay, so the next positive. Let's see what we got here. The Black Panther suit. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I don't often say this, but this suit was a legitimate upgrade over the previous version. And T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman's suit, was dope enough. It was sick. The black costume with the purple kinetic energy lines running through it, taken essentially straight from the comics. It was almost like a direct translation from the comics, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And I was like, can they do any better than this? That suit was sick. Letitia Wright's suit, Shuri's suit, it's actually better. It's an upgrade. And I can't even believe I'm saying that. But it really, truly is. The gold inlays, like the detailing, the suit itself, the micro patterns, bruh. It was nasty. That suit is legit. Every time she came on screen after she puts it on, you just felt the electricity. And Marvel knows this. We all know this about superhero films. One of the best part of any superhero property is the suits themselves. They're the avatar. They symbolize transformation. The Dark Knight, Batman's suit rising out of the glass case in the Batcave. You get chills when you think about that stuff. You get chills when you see it. And they did it again here. The suit in and of itself is one of the best parts of the film. It was beautiful. It conveyed the energy. It was just tight. Dope suit. And a special mention for a few elements of the film that are definitely positive but deserve notoriety all to themselves. The emotion, the cinematography, and the pacing, okay? The emotion of the film was present all the way through. And not just with the actors, because actors obviously, the main part of being an actor is conveying emotion. So they did that. Yeah, that was there just in and of itself. No, I mean the emotion of the film. The way it was shot, the music, the color grading, it was gorgeous. And from the opening scene till the closing scene, even after the post-credits, you felt it right here. You felt it in here. It was just great, man. The tonal shifts, the Atlanteans like attacking at night. Like it was, the emotion of the film. And keep in mind, this is a 3-hour film. This ain't no late 90s hour and a half. Nah, man, this is on some Titanic type stuff. This film was 3 hours long, okay? 2 hours and 41 minutes to be precise. Y'all know what I'm saying. So it's like, you could easily be sitting in there like kind of, dozing. Nah, I was awake the whole time and I felt it the whole time. The emotion was there. The cinematography, whew, cray. Just gorgeous. They kind of, in the vein of the Russos, going back to like Winter Soldier, they almost went out of their way to not shoot it like a comic book film, quote unquote. It's obviously a comic book film and one of the best comic book films, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But it was just like a real film, almost like an action film, you know what I'm saying? Some drama. The shots were just, the framing, again, the color grading, just gorgeous. And it was very real. It's about like some heart-shaped herbs, a man coming out of the sea, strong as the Hulk, flying with wings on his ankles. But it actually felt real. And I'm not just saying that, it felt real the way they shot it. It was like, this is a movie, you know what I'm saying? The final scene when Shuri's on the beach, I'm not really going to go into what she's doing. Again, all my reviews are spoiler reviews, but it'll make sense in the film. Bro, the way they framed that shot, just how it looked, when she was on the beach, I was like, these people are out of their minds. Just sick, gorgeous, grounded, real. The composition, on fleek, high fleek. So big shout out for the cinematography. One of the best parts of the film. One of the carrying elements of the film. It was just gorgeous. So, and last but certainly not least, out of these three, they're kind of all tied, but definitely, I don't know, it might be the first one, the pacing. Like I mentioned, this film is 3 hours long. This ain't no late 90s hour and a half. This film was dang near 3 hours long. So you're like, did parts drag or this or that? It was a little slow in the beginning, I will say that, but just the beginning. But they managed to pace a 3-hour film with 9-year perfection. Y'all know I don't like using the P word, but it was almost there. Every scene, the way it built up. I mean, she didn't put on the suit to become the Black Panther until that was the third act of the film. But like, it wasn't slow or jacked up in between that. Because I always say one of the cardinal sins of film or TV productions is when you make a show and for a large portion of it, you don't have the element of that show in the show. Daredevil season 3, Iron Man 3. I could go on and on. She wasn't Black Panther for 2/3 of the film. It was the third act where she became Black Panther. Didn't even matter. This was insane. Every conversation was paced. It sped up when it needed to. It slowed down when it needed to. It was gorgeous. They had the right battles. The battle in Wakanda, the initial battle, Atlantis versus Wakanda. Yeah, man. The pacing is one of the best parts of the film. So shout out to the director, Ryan Coogler, everyone involved. It's not easy to pace a 3-hour film at all. It's not easy to pace a 10-minute like a short film and make it like compelling. It was compelling. It was legit. Shout out to the pacing. Shout out to the whole film. Now onto the room for improvement. All right. In a 3-hour film, you think I would have like a long list. Really don't. There are only 2 room for improvements I have in this film. Number one, and they couldn't really do anything else about it, so it's like, what are you going to do? The death of T'Challa, Black Panther. Okay, obviously Chadwick Boseman passed away in real life. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman, big time. So that had to make its way into the film. Like, why is T'Challa himself not the Black Panther? They had him pass away due to an illness. Anyone who reads the comics knows once you get that heart-shaped herb in you, you're good. Like you're Gucci. You can't get sick. You can't get sick from anything. You're good. So having the Black Panther imbued with the heart-shaped herb at the time of falling ill and his death, and dying because of being sick, it just, I'm not trying to be, crass. It just can't happen. That actually can't happen. So, but they literally had to do something. They had to do something. So I'll give it to them. It makes me a little sad to talk about it, but it's like, what are you going to do? They had to do something. But just from like a narrative standpoint, from the actual, timeline of the comics, when you have the heart-shaped herb in you, you're not getting sick. That's not a part of the game plan. So, but they had to do something. And, now is the time to bring it up. The second room for improvement, which is actually a room for improvement, was the CGI on Riri Williams' Ironheart suit. Marvel, Disney, LucasArts. Why I put my girl Riri Williams out to dry like that? Why I do it like that? Y'all know y'all was wrong for that. And it was made even more comedic because one of the key elements of what made Iron Man 2008 what it was, aside from Robert Downey Jr.'s acting, the storyline, so on and so forth, we all know how amazing that movie was the CGI or the visual effects of the suit. They're still gorgeous to this day. They were a part of the film, the suit, and specifically the visual effects of the suit. So to have an Iron Man character with I would almost say like a subpar visual effects, motif to their suit, I don't know, man. And they'll get it right in the next film. Y'all was wrong for that, but y'all know that. Okay, moving on to the best actor. I love doing these. So with any TV series or movie, I'll do the best actor of the whole production. So usually it is the main actor, but not always. Like in Thor, Love and Thunder, the best actor was by far and away, even though Chris Hemsworth held it down, Natalie Portman held it down. They all held it down. The best actor was Christian Bale. He was just gnarly in that film, man. Yeah, Gore was just sick. That was some top tier stuff. So he got the best actor award. But usually it's the main actor just because they had the most screen time, but not always. But in this case, in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, a stellar film, the best actor award goes to Letitia Wright, Shuri. Man, she held it down. She held it down. She really did. Like, every element was there. She had the comedy. She had the emotion. She had the screen presence. And one of the best parts of the entire film, like I just mentioned, was, her road to becoming Black Panther. But her tonal shift, her actual attitude, emotional shift when Angela Bassett passed away and she became queen and then became Black Panther. Bro, it was just expertly done, like weaving together threads, bro. It was just sick and it was believable. She actually changed. She was her posture changed. She, hands behind her back a little bit more, facial expression. She's like, yo, I ain't got time to play with y'all. I'm the queen now. So Namor's about to blow my whole dang country up. I got to get this show on the road. But it wasn't just in words, you actually felt it. It was, that tonal shift it was just great. It was the highest tier of acting. And I mean, just her presence throughout the whole film. Letitia Wright is a fairly easy vote for the best actor in the film. The second, and I had to debate for a second, but I was like, nah, it's actually Letitia Wright, was if it wasn't for her, it would be Namor, Tenoch Huerta. Man, yeah, he held it down. He did. If it wasn't for Letitia Wright, he would be the number one. But she held it down too much. It was just so sick. Yeah, Tenoch, man, he did it big. His emotional weight was there. He had his action scenes were great. He really dove into the role. No pun intended. He had the just right amount of levity, made a few jokes. And when he pulled a Thanos and you realize he's actually psychopathic, that scene was great. It was some Thanos stuff. It was some Michael Keaton Vulture type stuff. It was really good. He held it down. If it weren't for Letitia Wright, he would be the best actor. So shout out to Tenoch Huerta. But I got to give some other honorable mentions. Because, again, like many of these Marvel films, because they're all composed of A and S-list actors, they're all great. Everyone held it down, okay? But M'Baka, Winston Duke, bro, again, in the first film, he was kind of a supporting character, but maybe even a side character. Nah, he was one of the main elements of this film, but he was great. My man was swole. He got everything done. He's obviously a somewhat comedic character, so he had his comedy there in spades. You felt the weight of him being the leader of the tribe. Winston Duke was one of the best parts of the film, so shout out to his acting. Okoye, I already said, this film was more or less her time to shine. They gave her the screen time she needed, and she did everything that she possibly could with it. Okoye is easily one of the best parts of the film. And I would be remiss if I did not mention my man Michael B. Jordan in this film. I kind of had a feeling, and no, I did have a feeling. Even before I saw this, I was like, they're going to find some sort of way. They're going to dig up something. They're going to excavate a method to place Michael B. Jordan in this film. I just had a feeling. I'm like, they're going to put Michael B. Jordan in this film. And they did. He's in the film. In the timeline, he's deceased. My man is in the film. And the 2 to 3 minutes of his screen time that he's, in the film, he does the most. He squeezed every ounce of liquid, of juice out of those 3 minutes of screen time to the point where it was one of the best parts of the film. And he is one of the best actors in the film, despite only being in it for 3 or 4 minutes. That part was great, man. He had the braids, he had the cavalier, standoffish attitude, the floor-length white shawl. Every line was just delivered with this sense of I'm about that life. It was great. So shout out Michael B. Jordan. He was swole as usual. We don't really have to go over that. Mans was yoked up. I knew it. I was like, they're going to find a method to place Michael B. Jordan in this film, and they did. And it was one of the best parts of the film. He was one of the best actors. But that being said, the laurel, the wreath, has to go to Letitia Wright. Shout out. Big shout out Letitia Wright. Big shout out Shuri. She held it down. Best actor in the film. Okay, the post-credits. The post-credits were pretty good. They were pretty good. They revealed T'Challa's son, the next lineage of the Black Panther line. Now he's the prince, of course. Letitia Wright, Shuri, is the queen. And it's Nakia's kid, Nakia's baby. So it was good, man. It was good. It was a very heartfelt scene. The Wakandan royal family is getting bigger. It was great. They revealed somewhat unnecessarily. They were like, what's your name? And he's like, Toussaint. And he's like, the son of T'Challa. They explained. I was like, as soon as she said auntie to Letitia Wright, I was like, oh, man, T'Challa got a baby. So, but it was cool. It was a great scene. The Wakandan royal family is getting bigger. It was very heartfelt. It was a nice way to finish off the film. It was good. But I'm going to tell y'all something. They did not have a second post-credit scene. They didn't have the end post-credit scene. This film reached, bless you, 99.999, not even 99.99, 99.999% completion. I'm not going to say perfection. I try to avoid using that word. Completion. There was no final end post-credit scene. So I'm not sure why they did that. There's a lot of stuff they could have done. Adam Warlock, I'm not going to speculate because there's a lot of stuff they quote unquote could have done, but they didn't. It just said Black Panther will return, and that was it. They almost did it. To continue success or to have success that you've had, got to remember how you got there in the first place. Those post-credit scene, man, bone chilling. We were all hyped for them. You sit in the theater for after the credits, the actual credits, which no one watches, but they're actually interesting. If you read through them, you'll find out a lot about the film industry, actually. But we would sit through them for that juicy, that electrifying final post-credit scene. That's a big part of the Marvel mythos. That's a part of their DNA. That's a part of what makes them who they are. So hopefully they'll keep those going because they're just gorgeous. They're beautiful. They're very exciting. They get you pumped. That was what wove the initial MCU together, was those final scenes. You find out Nick Fury, Winter Soldier, arm linked up in the vice. One of my favorite post-credit scenes. So on and so forth. So yeah, 99.999% complete. Got to have that final post-credit scene. So there we go. Now, on to what you all want to know. On to what we got here. To the whole quote-unquote point of a review. Besides having fun, these are fun to do. The rating. What is the rating of Black Panther Wakanda Forever? The sequel to Black Panther, and I guess the final film of Phase 4, the segue into Phase 5. What does this film get? A 10 out of 10. Yeah. This film gets a 10 out of 10. Okay? Not only is it one of the best films Marvel's ever done, I'm saying it right here on tape in Mexico City, I believe where part of this film was made. I'm saying it on film. This is Marvel's best film. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is Marvel's best film. Number 1. No Way Home. We know how great that film is. Endgame. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is number 1. Like I led off this review with, this film was actually transcendent. It had elements that other films just can't touch. So even if they maxed out to the expert level, to the highest level, what they did, this film has elements that just surpass those that aren't present in the other ones. It's transcendent. It was gorgeous, man. It was, to stay engaged like that for 3 hours in the theater, just watching this movie. No real dragging parts. My only room for improvements, as you remember, were the actual death of Black Panther, which we don't really have to get into that. And the CGI on Riri Williams' suit on a 3-hour film. The road to her becoming Black Panther. Wait till you see that. Sick. Elevated. This film is advanced. Yeah, it's Marvel's best film. Number 1. Easy 10 out of 10, my G. That's it. Shout out Ryan Coogler. In the film, I was like, because during the bridge battle scene, I was like, did the Russos, were they involved in this? They might have been. But I was like, oh, duh, Black Panther, Ryan Coogler. Shout out Ryan Coogler. I'm taking time on film right now, in the present moment, to give a big shout out to Ryan Coogler. That man, he can direct. Because directors, they direct the emotional energy, what's happening on set. There's a lot that directors do. Yeah. When you get to a film that's on this level, executed to this at this capacity, you're looking at the actors, you're looking at the VFX, you're looking at all these different things, but it's like, who directed this? Ryan Coogler. Man's a master, bro. Straight up. Insane. Big shout out. And also, I found myself thinking, who wrote this? Who wrote this dang film? Because I keep saying it, but that road to her becoming Black Panther, well, do you see that? And the pacing. It's all the different elements. Ryan Coogler, along with my man Joe Robert Cole, did the screenplay in the lab with a pen, maybe a pencil, typewriter. That's old school. Wrote the screenplay, my G. Take that to the bank and cash it. Yeah. Big shout out, Ryan Coogler. This wasn't no normal film, my G. Insane. 10 out of 10. Best Marvel film. Go watch it. And that's it. That is it. Yo, there we go, man. We did Black Panther. Been waiting all year for this film. Did not disappoint. Yeah, this is going to be my lexicon of Marvel films. Watch this whenever you need to feel hype or what have you. Or just have it stored up in your memory forever. Like everything. But at any rate, yeah, this was, it was crazy. Definitely worth the wait. And a special note on that, like I always say, you can watch my previous videos. Don't lose faith. Don't lose faith. I actually never lost faith in Marvel. Certain shows that shall not be named, I'm not even going to get into that. You know, we're not going to get into that. But Thor, people thought it was controversial. It wasn't that bad. Thor was fine. Love and Thunder was great. But like I said, you know, I've been reading these comics for a long time. Since I was knee-high, a child. So I have that foundation, that literal, like, actual weight, you know, holding me down. That I can go back to remember, like, okay, I know what these can be. I know what they're supposed to be. I can always keep waiting for the next one. Because, you know, I know I have that foundation there. I can't be swayed by, you know, one or two subpar films or subpar shows. Again, we're not going to get into that. So, yeah, but, you know, Marvel, they know what to do. Even in that subpar show, they showed that they still had it. You know what I'm saying? But, nah. Yeah, Black Panther, they definitely know what they're about. Still on track. Actually increasing, because this is the best film and the most advanced film to date. So it's all still in there, woven into the DNA. You know, they got it. Never lost faith. Go see Black Panther. Put those final post credits in. We need that. Key element of the Marvel DNA. Get that in there. Yeah, man. Check out my Black Adam review. Another stellar film. You know, DC's closeout film for the year. One of my favorite reviews I've done. Yeah, I can't tell you the rating here. That's a spoiler. You got to watch the video. But Black Adam was great. Great film. Check out that review. The Rock, my favorite actor. You know what we're about. My Lego video, The Mandalorian Starfighter. Oh, that was so fun to do. Love doing those Lego videos. Legos are a key element of nerd culture. I've got more coming. I've got some great sets coming up. So check that out. I have more coming soon on the Lego front. And My Hero Academia. A show which needs no introduction. It needs no explanation. It's just dope. When I get on here talking about My Hero Academia, it's not like, oh, what did they do? I'm going to get on here for about half hour. I'm going to tell you how dope the episode was. And for whatever reason, if you're not watching My Hero, just repeatedly telling you to watch that. Get that Crunchyroll subscription and get on My Hero Academia. You know, I somewhat believe it's the only, like, good anime of the 2010s. You know, I'm from a certain, you know, school of anime, so there are other good anime in the 2010s, but My Hero is like the only, like, good one. I'm saying that here on tape. Yeah, man, watch My Hero Academia. I got those reviews for you. And that's it. Panther Claws. Yeah, man. Stellar film, transcendent. Shoe in for a 10 out of 10. S tier, S++, all that. Marvel's best film. Go watch it immediately. And that's all I got for you. That's it. I'm out here in Mexico City. The sun rising over these buildings. Getting a little chilly out here. But, you know, I got to keep it swollen. I got to keep it ready with the short sleeve. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep it ready. Yeah. I mean, the city's on top of a mountain. You know what I'm saying? So you know what it's about. As I always say, because I genuinely mean it, stay up. I mean that, all right? You don't want to be this direction in life. Always be this direction. Stay up. And that is it. I will see you all on the next one. And it will be soon. And it will probably be My Hero Academia, but who knows? But I will say, see y'all again soon. And that's it. Bye. Peace.